Chris Brown. I'm at 103 Highwood Court in Mr. Culver's district. Welcome with the Citizens Coalition for Criminal Justice Reform. So, first, Mr. President, I want to thank you for your apology 2 weeks ago. You were not the one who used an offensive racial term, but I appreciate your leadership on that. I'm sure that you know that after English and Spanish, Korean is the next most spoken language in Madison County. And so I trust that if the Chief of Police's verbal error was a reflection of being out of touch with that community, that you are addressing that and the administration is addressing that. Now, I haven't asked for anyone's resignations here yet because I'm not big on cancel culture. I'm much more interested in repentance than I am in cancellation. And by the way, I'm not a progressive. I don't think that criminal justice reform is a political issue at all, and I'm not theologically or politically progressive. I want to point that out as well. I'm interested in repentance because that's not just an apology, that's a change in behavior. And unfortunately, over the last several weeks from the administration, I haven't seen what I believe is even an acknowledgement there is a problem, much less anything resembling an apology or a change in the way they address it. And I hope we begin to see some changes soon. And what I really wanted to talk about tonight, kind of like I did 2 weeks ago, is talk about how our criminal justice system works or fails to work. I want to compare us to some other justice systems. In this country, we have by far the most police killings in the developed world. Canada is the next highest developed nation, and our rate is 5 times higher than theirs. It's also 50% higher than Mexico's rate of police killings, to give some perspective to that. We had more than one here in Madison County last year. The nation of Iceland has the same size population we do in Madison County and has had one in their entire recorded history, and the nation mourned for that. It's a huge and obvious difference. There are a lot of factors behind that. One of them is that the nations in Western and Northern Europe had their police trained for over a year before they're allowed to handle a deadly weapon, and that's an important distinction. We also here have the highest incarceration rate in the world by far. Russia is second, Rwanda is third for obvious reasons, and they're not close, and every other nation is far, far, far below us in that. Right here in Alabama, we actually have the highest per capita death row population in this country. So we have this tremendous rate of incarceration that our system is responsible for. You might be tempted to think that there's a trade-off here, that we're more safe because of that, but it's actually the opposite. We have the highest homicide rate in the developed world and one of the highest among all OECD nations. Alabama's homicide rate is higher than Nicaragua's and about 130 other countries. It's also higher than a third of the states in Mexico, again, to provide some perspective on how we stack up. So what's my point? My point is that despite all the police brutality, all the killings, the mass incarceration, we are still one of the least safe places in the world. This system has failed in what is ostensibly its main goal of keeping us safe, and while doing so, it has also cost a fortune and had all these other problems that I've talked about. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Next is